All right, welcome to another video. Good day. This is just 12 o'clock in the afternoon over here in Nigeria, right? So, welcome to another video, and we have done a lot. We've done a lot, right? So, in this video, we intend to walk on the staircase, right? So, done a lot of modeling here. You see how our model is beginning to look beautiful, it's looking like a building, right? So it's a great piece of model, right? So let's go ahead and work on the other parts, right? So we don't need the windows, we don't need the doors. You see how easy it is to get rid of the parts we don't need. So for the first floor, we don't necessarily need the walls, right? We do need them, but I can still turn off the walls, and I can turn off these walls, right? So what is this profile? Oh, that's that. All right, so this is the floor, right? So I think we're good to go. This is all we need to actually start modeling, right? So when we go to the first, let's look at our drawings, right? So we can see this is the schedule section. So let's look at a section, right? So we can see the kind of railings that goes here, right? So we have the top railings, and then we have these guys going at intervals. So I think one of the things we could do, since it's like a wire-like pipe railing, what we would do is we just do something simple, right? Really simple, right? So I would just do, let's see, start with the steps. Let's start with the steps. So we'll do the steps. So we can see we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 steps for the. All right, so this is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. All right, so 8 steps to the first landing, then 10 step, or more like 9 steps to the other landing, right? So let's see. Now, usually there is a section for step, the staircase design, but it seems they didn't include that. All right. So what we'll just do is try to reduce the dimension for the staircase. All right. Let's try to reduce the dimensions for this staircase. Right. So we know where it ends on the top floor, but for this, we kind of can't tell, right? But we do know it's a couple distance from this point, give or take 500, give or take 500. All right, so I can't really tell. So, but let's do this. So from this line, so the line I just drew is this wall. So, but if I middle point this line for that wall, that's this line here. So give or take, that's like 1 or 2 steps. That's like it's 400. So if I measure this out by 400, I'll just start here. Then this place is 900, right? So this landing is 900. So let's work with that. All right. So how do we now tell the riser, right? So the riser, let me see. Right, so I'm just gonna deduce, right? Or just give me a moment, let me check out the net. All right, so I just searched staircase details and dimensions, right? So I can just look for an image that will show me something I want in meters. All right, so I sorry, in millimeters, metric, right? So the risers are 150 to this, and the threads are two. So I'm just going to use the little one, or let me use the maximum, right? So that's 180 by this for the residential buildings. All right, so that's the residential building we're working with. And the width, we already have our width. The width was already given there. So our riser is the height between each step, all right? That's a riser. So we'll work with the 180. So we'll do some designs on our risers. All right. So let's go. So I think that's pretty much the dimension I need. Right. So I just needed to get something to ensure that our staircase looks realistic, right? So you see how I check dimensions at times. You need to check these things. Don't just model. There are some things I model from my mind, knowing that okay, this is that. So, but sometimes I physically use my tape measuring tool. I look for a physical object that really relates to what I want to model, and I model and I take an average assumption from there. All right. So, and I can't overemphasize how important it is to is ensure that your model is actually to a kind of scale, right? So we know that the width of this is about 900, right? So that's 900 for the staircase, right? So if we check the drawing, we can see that it's indicated somewhere. One of the plans shows that it is 900. All right, so 900 from here to here, which is the staircase width. So that's that. So that being said, we know that that's 900, right? So let me begin my modeling, right? So this is where we want the staircase to start from. And I'm just going to go ahead and draw this out. So I'll do, they say that the the thread is the flat part, the part you step on, all right? The riser is the part that goes up, and the part you step on is the thread, right? So the thread is this flat thing, like from here to here, this width, this thickness here, that's the thread, right? If I go to the section, this is what the thread looks like in the section. Sorry, this is a thread. So from here to here is your thread. Here to here is your riser. All right. So that's basic stuff. So the thread is 250 for the maximum. So let's go with 250. All right. So that's a very wide thread, right? So but let's go with that. I'll do that. Then let me just get rid of this. All right. So get rid of that. Do that again. So that's my thread. Then I'll pull this up by the riser height, which is 180. All right, so here's why I want to use the maximum. I want to stylize my staircase. So I'm going to create one step, then I will duplicate that across the stairs. And the reason I will do it that way is so that it will be a component, right? And then when I change it to one component, it affects every other thing, every other step. So, right. So I used 180 for the riser, but here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to bring it down by 20. So it's going to be 160 high first. Then for this step, it's going to be about, let me see, since it's 250 that was used, it's going to be about 230. Sorry, I'm just going to do that by 20, right? So why did I do that? This will be first group. All right, so it seems there are some excess there. They deleted that. So that's the first part of it. Then the second part now will now be the stylized part, which I would push this up by 20 and push this out by 20 again. So you see that what I just did there. So I just did that intentionally so that I can have a portion I can just stylize, right? So what I could do further is to you know do some extra stuff here just to make sure that it has, this is usually how I do my staircase, just something so simple and yet good. All right, so I could group that and I'll call this what do you call that? I think that's the thread. So I'll call this the thread. I wear the thread, and then I'll call this the riser, right? So I'll call this my make component. I'll call this stair, right? I'll just call that stair, right? So I would now take this and duplicate that times 9, right? So okay, first things first, I 1 2 3 4 5 6 7 8. All right, 8. So I'm deleting this. Now this is supposed to be onto a platform, right? So one other thing I want to do here is it's looking like this riser dimension I use is too high because I might not be able to get what I need from this side. If I put this here, I duplicate that here and I rotate that. Oh, sorry, I rotate that and I'm bringing it down. Do times 10. It would seem like there will be okay. It actually works. It almost works. Yeah, I think that's fine. That's actually fine. So I'll leave this like so. Leave this like so. Then what I will do, right? So this is 1 2 3 4 5 6 7 8, right? So let's do this. All right. So so all right. So that's that. So it's 250, right? So this should not be too high. That's height is 180, so that's 160. Yeah, that's not what I mean. 60 and go up by 100. That's 160 high. Then I'll group this, make this a group, and then going to move this by 20, right? So that I can have that thing going on there. I make group. All right, so you see, I'm almost done with my staircase. I'm just, uh, trying to align it with the design, right? So I can see here that goes 900, 900. So there's no jump coming out like so. So I'm going to have to cut that like that. So, so, so that means from here to here, I would push pull that, and same thing here, and like that. This is just fine, right? This is actually just fine. So I could decide to leave it like this, but if I look at the section, you can tell that it's supposed to be a straight concrete through like this. So what I could do for that is I'll come to one of these and I come to one of this. Hmm. All right. So okay, I want to do. I don't want to do that inside the group. Let me do that outside the group. So all right. So I just push pull that to fill in that space. All right. So I. All right. So that's pretty much that simple, right? As that simple. So you see, as I did that, it has applied it all the way through, right? So don't forget, you don't have to kill yourself over some of these things. It's pretty simple. These whole lines, those won't show up, right? So if I wanted to like render and I wanted to put a shaded mode without the profile, if I come to style and I come to edit and I turn off profile, you notice that if I remove edges, you see these things won't appear any longer. Right, so your rendering, those lines won't show, so you shouldn't be so bothered about those things, right? So just allow it flow, right? So that being said, you can see how quickly we have done the staircase up to the landing, right? So this one you can see it's entering in as well, but it doesn't matter. No, no palms, right? No palms. So we could decide to make this last one unique, right? Decide to make that last one unique, or we could decide to separate this thing separately. Like there's no one way to do things, right? There's no one way to do things. So for this guy, I think what we could do here is I could decide to make this right. Could still leave it like this though. Actually, there's no challenge leaving it this way. I could leave it this way, or I could still add this chunk here, right? See that? I could literally leave it this way. There's no, there's no like, it's a model, it's a 3D model, right? If I wanted it to really align, I'll have to pay so much details, right? So, but I didn't want to model everything like so detailed like that, so that you don't start feeling like everything must be perfect. No, it doesn't have to be perfect that way, all right? So it doesn't have to be that perfect, right? So the next thing I could do from here is to start applying materials, right? So if I apply materials to this, it's going to affect everything, right? So but I'm not going to apply the material just yet. I'll do that in the material session. So the next thing I want to do now is I want to go ahead and select my stair, right? Since I had just go ahead and select the stairs, right? So I'll group this and I'll call it stairs. Stairs. Right, so the next thing I need to do is the railings, right? So the railings is going to be really simple and straightforward. You're just going to go ahead and make the poles for the different locations. I mean, it's a straight pole railing, right? So what I'm going to do is it's going to run so straight like a profile. So we have the top profile, the second one. So we're going to have one tick circle. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, then 8. All right, so that's from the ground height to this doorknob, right? So for that, I'll just turn on the doors, and then I can tell that my railings is supposed to be around, supposed to end around here. So let me assume 1000 as that. So I just go ahead and hide that. Then I can turn on my first floor walls. So I can just align this to the wall by 1000. All right. So I'll push this back by 50. Then select this here. All right. So what I want to do now is something really simple and straightforward. I'm going to just quickly draw a path for my follow me tool that goes all the way from here through the staircase down to the floor part, right? That's just what I want to do now. All right, so for this guy, I'm just going to go ahead and check out where that is on the plan. All right, so it starts from the edge. So I'm going to go ahead and take this, right? So this is 50 and the height is 1 meter. So how did that thing get to that point? All right, 50. So to this point like so. All right, so I'm going to start. Okay, no, that comes from that wall. This doesn't actually come from the wall. This moves from this point. So that should come to this point and rotate along this point, right? Should rotate along this point, and then from here it will come. All right, so to start from here, then you go all the way to the top floor. So what I want to do now is I'll go ahead and draw my circles on the first shape. I'll draw all the circle points, then I draw my lines. All right, so let me get started. So for the first one is going to terminate somewhere like so. So we're going to be the first point. First point is going to be here. So I'll just do something like this. All right, so what do I want to do? Just do something like this. All right. Now the reason I'm doing this is I just want to have the point, right? So this is going to be uh wait, sorry. The thickness of the handle, I think I want that to be like 30, right? So I'll do that to be 15. So let me do the 15. The 15, then that should be through that middle. All right. So I'll just draw this middle, this crosshair for now. Then it's going to be like how many more? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Right. 7 more. Wow. Right. So 7 more of that towards the lower part, and it's going to be a lot smaller than this one, right? So in that regard, I would have this to move down. Okay, no, not move down. Let me move it down by, I think 75 is fine for the first one. Then the radius now, since that one is 30, then this one should be 10 is fine. 30, that's 15, so I'll do 8, right? So let me do 8. Then I'll move this down by define sum 45 times 6. Oh, that's too close. Right, so let me move it down by, now I'm just using my eye to, determine. Right, so this first one here is closer to this top, so that 75 is okay for that first one. Then I need to do like 100. All right, so that's like 100. Okay, hold on, let me move that down completely by 100 times 6. Right, let's see. All right, that's just right. Then I just move one last one. This one should be, let's say, 150. Right, and that's that for all the points. Right, that's that for all the points, but I just want to go ahead and add that center line because it is important. It's important because that's how I'll be able to draw the the curves through it. Nope. Yeah. All right, and the last one. Okay, so I'll just draw a straight line passing through all of them, and then I can just draw this line. I think I'll just draw this line all through. Right, so I'll clean the lines when I am done. Now the reason I'm drawing this line is it's just for inferencing purposes, right? So I won't be carrying the guidelines with me. I would like to delete the guidelines. So I just want something that cuts through the circle so that I can know the start and the finish of the circle, right? I'm going to start and finish of the circle, right? So let me just get rid of this, get rid of that, and draw that again all through. Right, so I'll just group this. Now with this, I could easily just take this and duplicate. And here's why I'm duplicating it, right? So I'll get to hide these walls. I don't need those walls any longer. I had those walls. I think I'll push this in by 50. Then I'll move this from this point and duplicate it. I just duplicate it at the junctions where I want it to curve and turn, right? Then it gets to this point. If I look at the diagram, it comes down to that point, then it turns and start going back down. So I'll get this to this point, maybe around here, right? Then move this in by 50, right? And I'll duplicate that to that point again. Then I think from that point, the next place will now be how many points down. So 1, 2, 3, third step. So 1, 1, 2, 3. With that third step. 1, 2, 3, a third step like that. 1, 2, 3. All right. So the third step, I'll just drop it here, and then I'll tape that line to 50. Then I will rotate this because that's not the orientation. Then I'll move that to the line, right? Move it to the line. Okay, it's not on the ground. All right, to that point, and move to that line. Bring it out just a little bit. I bring it up by 50 from that point. Then you soon see why I'm doing all this, right? So it's just I haven't done it this way before, but I picked up a new scale. Okay, so so right, this might not be effective, so I won't do it at this point. I'm just going to take it from that point to this next point right here, and I'll bring it to this point, this level. and push it down, and pick it again, bring it to this point, move it in by 50, and move it again. I think I will rotate it at this point. All right, then I'll move it up, take it back by 50 again. All right, then one last position that guy. Then I will take that and place it just right there, right there. Push it in by 50, and it's well placed. All right, so here's what I need it for. So I take my pen tool, I click on the last point, and I go through all this. I don't need this wall, please. I go through this point. I go click, click through this point. Then I come to this point. So that's actually what I needed that for, right? That's what I needed it for. So those points. So if I do all this, you'd see how handy that would come, right? So that's one line done. Then I go to the next line. So I could just triple click, right? And since the line is going smoothly, I could just duplicate that with control click, duplicate that, duplicate that, duplicate that, and again, and again, and again, and again, right? So with that, I'm done with all those lines. It passes through all that, right? So the reason I did all that is so I can have this line, because with this line, all I would now do is to now do follow me too, right? Sorry about that. My back hurts. All right, so we're gonna take a stretch break. All right, so with that, you can see already how that comes together, right? I could just go ahead and select all this and delete them, but I'm just gonna hide it, right? See why I didn't use the second one, because it's not going to be on the right angle. So I'm just gonna select all this and I'll hide them. I'll group them and hide them. I'll just call it my guide, right? So make group and rail guide, right? This is something that you would easily do with um, profile builder, right? So but I just have to go through these means because we are modeling without plugins for this kind of thing, right? So profile builder is a paid software, sorry, paid plugin, so I can't use that in this training. So delete all the guides, and what I will do now is I'm just gonna click into this. I'll copy that, then I'm just gonna go ahead and hide those rails, and then I'll paste in place the one I copied, and I'll just go ahead and delete all this. I'll go inside and then I'll delete all these lines. I don't need those lines any longer. Those lines are just for accuracy and for point placing, right? So I'll delete all that. I don't need that, right? So there are many ways to do these things. This is not the only way it could have been done, right? I just thought of that live on set. Oh my god, I'm hiding those things. Those lines are hidden. They're not deleted. Oh, okay. They were deleted. Why was it looking like I was hiding? Okay. Please don't hide lines for me. Delete them. Thank you. Okay, I'll use shift to navigate. So when I hit the shift button, it does show the hide. Shift changes the tool to the hide tool. So that's not what I'm using. All right. All right. All right, so I think this portion was hidden instead of deleted. So I'm just going to unhide this portion. Then I will delete them. All right. So you can see why I did all this. Now, you don't have to go through the method I want you to do this. So you could literally devise another means, right? So what I'll do here is I'll explode this and then click that, ensure that it has all the parts selected. And so what I'll do actually, okay, I ensure it has the part selected, then I will come and hit on the follow me tool with this. I create a straight run, continuous thickness to the end, right? So that's all. So triple click, ensure it's selected, then click on the follow me tool, double click, follow me, double click, follow me, double click, double click, follow me, double click, follow me, right? So I think it's about time that follow me tool is a shortcut, right? Something you want to make a shortcut. I scarcely use follow me tool because of some plugins I work with, so I might not do that here. All right, so you can see how quickly we have gotten our. All right, so I'm just going to select all this, call them profiles, right? So I'll just come to select. Now you see one thing about modeling this way, all connected, is that make group, right? Real profiles is that if it's a different staircase, you want to change the pattern or something like that, you can quickly notice that it's going to be a tedious work, right? You just quickly notice that, right? So I'm just gonna select this and select all connected, and I'm just gonna group them and call it Stair profile path. Right, I'm not going to delete it because I don't know what I might need it for tomorrow, right? So I'm just gonna hide that. So real guide, right? So for the real, for the vertical posts, I have these guys positioned at the point where I want the vertical post to go. So vertical post just has a defined thickness within top one, right? So the thickness of these main posts are, more than the sub post. So I'm just going to use the same thickness. So that's 30 actually. So I'm just going to measure 30. Just take my stuff right there and I'll bring it out by 300, and then I'll just do my thickness to be 30 as 150. Let's say 150 as 15, and I push pull that till it goes high up this point, middle point there. So click make group, call it vertical. All right, then I'll also do one other thing. I'll add my guide for placement, the placement guide, so that I don't struggle with that. All right, so I'll just put one here as well. So, and one here as well. I'll just draw the rectangle. That's going to help me for placing it. I'll delete the face and I'll select that and select this and then make component. I'll call it the real vertical, right? So I could just pick that up from any of the points, since it's something. Just pick a point, place it at the junctions, at the middle of these junctions, because I know I use this thing as my reference. So if I just place it at the middle, at the very middle, it's just going to be perfect. All right. So, all right. Then I take again uh, that junction, take again, just placing it at the very, you know, that very point, so that it would, oh, all right, that, okay. Seems I didn't move that well. All right, so I move this point as well, and the next point. Right. See how I might not even need to so much look at the rails while placing it, because of the referencing means I use. Right. These things become second nature when. All right. So let's see the rail profiles, how it goes. Right. So you can see, just because I dropped it at those reference stuff. See why I didn't need to delete that? See how smoothly it goes all through. So if I don't want, I would add the middle rails. By middle rails, I mean those in-betweens that goes ahead around here. All right. So if I want, I won't add that, but if I want as well, I could add that. All right. So I'm just going to go ahead and not add that just because of time. But it's something that if you're doing a render, you might want to go ahead to add those things, right? So, but I think this is just good enough, or I would want to separate it before, but let me just use the same the same material, right? I use the same material, and I'll just space them all out as 1 2 times 2 here. Then I think I'll take this one, and I'll just use the same material, right? So that was the third step before. So I'll move it along this axis. I'll move it down. This is not necessarily getting there, but it doesn't matter. Then I move it along the same axis. Then I move it down again. Right. So you can see I moved that. So I'm just going to undo that, and then I copied it. So I'll do paste in place. So. All right. Then I can do for this set as well. So I can just do this and duplicate copy. I'll do one. Okay, I'll do one here. And then I do another one here. I think this is all right then. And then I move it down. All right, so we can see how that went. All right, so since it's a component, I can just scale that one up right there. You can see how the railing was done. It was might have been quite complex the way I did it, especially the fact that it's all right. So it seems this is not well aligned, right? It's not well aligned. So I'm just gonna align that and scale that up just a tad bit. All right, so this, I'll scale this up. I'll move this, scale it down just a little bit. All right, so that being said, I have done all that is needed here, and in the next video we'll go ahead to treat the things I had mentioned. So you notice I didn't apply any material here, and I will do that after we are done with the um, video for the right, so daily guides. So this rails, all right. There are other kinds of rails you might have in your staircase, but with everything you've learned so far, you could maneuver it, right? It's not something like, it's not rocket science, like I keep saying. It's actually something you can easily maneuver. Something you can easily maneuver, right? So just gonna go ahead and turn back this on, turn off that, turn back the ground floors and turn off. And all right, so all these refs. All right, so I'll turn this off, turn this off, turn this off. I think I can turn this off as well. And real guys, gonna turn that off. So I can just select this. See how beautiful it is to properly group your, yeah. So rails stops. I think I'll call that. All right. So that being said, I can go ahead and pick up all that pertains to my staircase, right? Because as you can see, I'm done. I'll group that and call that staircase. The case, right? So I'm done with that. So I don't need the guides. I don't need guides any longer. So I can hide it. And step profile part is also part of staircase property. So I just hide all that. All right. So you see, one of the reasons I made this to be components is so that by the time I want to apply materials to it, it's just going to be a straightforward activity, right? So, but you can see how the staircase is looking beautiful, looking good. We're prepared for the next phase of our activity. All right. So that being said, thank you so much for watching. I know this has been a lengthy training, and the videos are getting quite lengthy, and that's because of so much of explanation and also, of course, modeling does do take time at times. So, but when you continue in the process, it becomes easier, right? And when you start mastering how to use extensions and many other things, there it becomes even easier, right? So that being said, I'm done, and we'll catch you in the next video. Please do like. At this point in time, I shouldn't be asking you to like, but I mean, it's part of YouTube. You have to keep reminding people to like, because some people don't remember that the like button is like the way you help the YouTube channel. All right. So people don't remember the like button. So at times you just have to tell them to hit the like button. Please do hit the like button, right? So hit the like button, subscribe, and share to your friends and all that, right? So thank you so much, and catch you in the next one. Bye.